out with, we'd love to do that. And the other cool thing about this boat is none of us own it, so therefore it is not our liquor. We have no problem giving it away to you guys. We want you to have fun tonight, and that's really important for us, right? You guys gonna be a fun group? Yeah. Yes. All right. Record on the boat is 28 rum swizzles.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was Baxter on the afternoon trip. Well done, champ. So that's the deal, but perhaps you might want to move away from the Swizzle if you can't quite make the record. We do have sodas, water, and juice that are available that are complimentary for the whole time. Just let one of us know and we'll grab that for you. All right? So that's the deal. Now we've chosen to go way out to sea, which is going to be cool. Hopefully we can get a pretty decent sunset out of the day. I mean, it has been a gorgeous day today, yeah? What you guys do? Beach, Hamilton, a whole bunch of different stuff. Yeah, these are one of these days where you want to get out of dockyard and do some stuff, because it's really feeling like summer's kicking in nowadays. Today was like a true Bermuda summer day. But what we're going to do now, guys, we're just going to come around the corner here. We're going to put the sail up. Now, as you can see, there's not much wind going on, right? Which is another reason why we don't always have the choice to go out to sea, because if it's windy, it gets pretty rough out there, and we tend to soak everybody sitting on the bow, so that's a no-go, right? But we don't have that situation tonight. As you can see, it's pretty calm. So just so we get out a little further, we're going to do some motor sailing, all right? It's probably not even windy enough to keep this front sail full, but we'll figure that out as we go. And then we can watch the sunset maybe 3 or 4 miles offshore, all right? On the way out there, I like to give you a bit of running commentary. I'll do kind of half an hour of running commentary. And then we like to kind of keep it casual. We're going to come around, socialize with you guys, ask you some questions, help you out with your days to come. And then once the sun goes down, we all just get naked and have a big party. How's that sound? Yeah? All right, cool. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm going to help my buddy Baxter pull the sail up, and then we'll get started here. Declaration was signed. Britain lost a sizable chunk of real estate on the East Coast there, right? All the colonies broke away from Britain. And basically Britain wasn't happy about that. So they said, all right, we've lost our colonies on the East Coast. We still got that little island over there called Bermuda. Let's build an attack station, or a watch station, if you will, just to watch our newfound enemies on the East Coast so we can watch the Atlantic. Bermuda was primetime real estate for that kind of stuff back in those days. So that's what they did. They finished building the dockyard by 1809, and it was called the Gibraltar of the West, all right? So that's kind of cool stuff. When you walk around, you look at all those old stone buildings. They actually date back to that era, and they were originally built to withstand cannonball fire, right? They even launched one attack on America, the War of 1812. Yeah, I can't remember what year that was, but all of the boats left out of the dockyard, right? I had nothing to do with that. Truthfully, the War of 1812, they actually launched that at night because they didn't want the locals here to know about it. You see, when America went independent, or announced that they were going to, an embargo was put on all trade coming from America to any British colony, which meant the people of Bermuda, right, the colonies here, we couldn't get food and supply from the States anymore. So that was a big deal for us, right? If you look at the map, the States are 400 miles that way. England is 3,000 miles that way. They used to deliver stuff by sailboats, so you can imagine how the locals felt about that here, right? So what we did was we got in touch with George Washington. This is why the British didn't trust us anymore. And we said, hey, George, dude, we're still hungry here in Bermuda. Can we go back to the good old days when you were bringing us food and supplies? And George replied, he said, well, it's funny you should mention that, but I happen to be busy right now. I'm at war with the British, but a lot of the gunpowder they're using against me happens to be held right over there in St. George's, Bermuda, all right? That building actually still exists today. It's called Gunpowder Taverns, and if you make it up to Tobacco Beach, if you're going to St. George's, you will pass that building, all right? If you read the storybook, there was one guy guarding 100 barrels of gunpowder. All right, so that was easy. We took him out, all right? We stole all the gunpowder, and we rendezvoused with George Washington's ships right off the East End over there. We traded gunpowder for food and supplies. That went down, all right? You guys went on to win the war, and we got fed, so thank you, and you're welcome. Worked out for everybody, all right? We've been friends since. But yeah, that's a little history for you guys, all right? And that's a little stuff about Dockyard there. Now, Dockyard of today, all of this stuff I'm going to tell you right now, you might want to save for your last day. If you got an hour or two to kill, and you don't want to go too far away from your ship, you might want to check some stuff out. So first of all, if you look directly across from your ship, you got that house on top of the hill there, all right? That is all part of the Maritime Museum. That's Bermuda's best museum, all right? It's $12 cover charge, which ain't too bad for Bermuda, right? And if you're into shipwrecks, anyone into shipwrecks? Oh, that's a dumb question to ask right now, isn't it? Baxter, put your hand down. But if you are, Bermuda's actually known as the shipwreck capital of the Atlantic Ocean. To date, we have over 400 shipwrecks, and a lot of the relics from these wrecks from over the ages have been housed over there in the Maritime Museum. So if you're into that slice of history, check it out. They also have the Swimming with the Dolphins program there. Anyone planning to do that? Have you done it already?
No, we're doing
Okay. I'll tell you how to do it for cheap. You pay the $12 to go into the museum. Once you're in the museum, you're going to be perusing the exhibits, you're going to be looking at stuff, and you will suddenly, bam, you're going to fall across the dolphin pool. All right, you're going to look at it. You can watch the whole show for free, just for the cover charge of the museum, and if you really want to go swimming with them, just accidentally trip on your shoelace, fall into the dolphin pool, and you can swim with dolphins for $12. Cheapest way to do it. That's some local knowledge. Keep your clothes on, make it look legit, you know? No? I've been saying that for maybe 15 years now. No one's ever done it. Or maybe never lived to tell about it. I don't know. So that's the Maritime Museum. You got the dolphins in there. I'm going to ask you guys a serious question. Who likes beer? Put your hand up if you like beer. Pretty much everybody on board. All right, we're going to have a moment of silence for beer right now. I said that last week and someone said, oh no, did beer die? But if you're like me, whenever I'm in a different country, I like to sample the home brew, all right? And the only place that you can do that in Bermuda is Dockyard, all right? The Frog and Onion Pub makes its own beer. So you might want to check them out your last day here too, all right? They make 5 different types, and I know in America the micros are everywhere, but here we only have one, and it's right there within walking distance of your ship. There's also a rum cake factory. Anyone found that one today? Couple of us, all right? If you haven't found it, check them out because they give out free samples. Usually the words free and Bermuda never appear in the same sentence together, right? Last year we were actually the most expensive place to live in the world. Yeah, I haven't checked out the facts this year. It gets depressing. But the good people at the Rum Cake Factory, they give out free samples. Me and Baxter went there for breakfast and lunch today. It's the cheapest place to eat in Dockyard, all right? And then you got a little miniature golf course around the back side of Dockyard. The clock towers you see, those are shopping malls. Well, boutiques, I should say. And then behind that, you do have a cement factory, if anyone's interested. You could take some pure Bermuda cement home with you. All right, but that's why it's good to get out of the Dockyard, and the weather's supposed to be okay. Tomorrow we might get a bit of rain, but they say here this time of year, you know, if you don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes. It's going to change. All right. So what's everyone doing tomorrow? Anyone planning to go to the beach? Now that's fine. Horseshoe is our quintessential beach. It's won awards in beach magazines, etc. But what I tell people to do is, if you want to go somewhere different, maybe some of you have been here before and been to Horseshoe already, you can go to the next big beach down. All right, it's called Warwick Long Bay. You guys would pronounce it Warwick, okay? It's spelled W-A-R-W-I-C-K. It has spiritual significance to me because that's actually the first place where my mother tried to drown me. That's how we teach kids how to swim here. All right, she tried to drown me at a few beaches, but then I learned how to swim. But once you get down to Warwick Long Bay, you're going to get down there. You're going to see it's a bigger beach. It's always less crowded. You still got the pink sand that you're looking for. The rock formations are there. This beautiful blue water rolling in. And that's fine. If you like the beach, you got a bit more space there. Lay your towel down and enjoy it. But if you take an immediate right-hand turn, once you get down to the entrance of Warwick Long Bay, you take a right-hand turn. You're going to find a little sand dune trail, and that sand dune trail takes you all the way through to Horseshoe Bay, and that is the prettiest walk that you can do in Bermuda. All right, so if you're looking for that Bermuda pristine, untouched coastline, that is where you are going to find it, right there. And when I say pristine and untouched, I really do mean it, all right? There's no 7-Elevens along the way. It's just a walk, so I think you guys have paid enough to go on this vacation. Steal some stuff from your ship, all right? Take some beer, take some water, take some food with you, make a picnic out of it, and that makes for a really pleasant morning if you're planning to do that tomorrow, all right? The walk itself, if you want to do the whole thing, it's just under a mile, and there's lots of little secluded beaches along the way. Some of them don't even have names, all right? And if you've been to Bermuda before and you haven't done that, you got to do that this time.
How about from Horseshoe Bay?
You can do it the other way. The reason why I steer you towards Warwick Long Bay is it's less crowded. And if you go to Horseshoe Bay is 3/4 of a mile, almost a mile long. So to actually get to the path, you have to turn left and walk down the entire beach. So it's less of a walk if you start at Warwick Long Bay. But if you want to do it that way, that's fine too. You know, if you're doing it from the Horseshoe Bay side, you got to walk to the end of the beach. At high tide, your feet are going to get wet. You're going to walk around some rocks, and then you're on the trail right there. So real easy, yeah. Now, Hamilton is like our capital city. Hamilton's real easy to get to from Dockyard. You just catch the ferry, all right? Our local ferry will take you there in about 20 minutes, and it's $4.50. You catch the bus, it takes you about 45 minutes, all right? Hamilton, if you're going into Hamilton, you're going there for shops, restaurants. You got much more variety than you're going to find right here in the Dockyard. That's also where Bermuda makes all of its money. Any guesses as to the mainstay of our economy here? Tourism used to be. Yeah, I always get tourism, I always get rum. Brittany actually drinks too much of our rum for us to make a profit off it. And tourism, if you look at the numbers today, tourism constitutes about 8% of our GDP. Right, really small part. Now, mind you, if you go back right through to the 80s, tourism was our major product here, right up until the 80s. And then the heyday ended. And we kind of went on into banking. Nowadays, banking is our second moneymaker. Our premium moneymaker, someone said it down here. Insurance. You got it. Insurance. Yeah, the insurance industry here is huge. And the name of the game in Hamilton is reinsurance, right? So it's the insurance companies who insure insurance companies, right? Crazy concept. You know, so people like Geico are the client. Now, me and Baxter actually had a brainstorm this morning. The light bulb went off, and you guys are welcome to join us. We're going to do re-insurance. Huh? You think I'm onto something here? You come back next year, I'll probably still be working on the boat. But if you do go into Hamilton, you know, Hamilton's definitely business Monday to Friday. You're going to see those people. I'm just going to warn you, people dress up a little bit funny when they go to work here in the corporate side, right? Well, the women don't. The women look smart. They look chic. They look the part. The guys, anyone know what I'm talking about here? Yeah, you got it. You've seen these people, right? Well, basically, they put shoes on, and that's okay, but everything above that is wrong, right? They got socks past their knees. They got the Bermuda shorts on. They got a pink shirt, a weird flower tie, and just to cap it all off, they put a blazer on top of it, right? If they got off a plane in Texas, someone would shoot them immediately. But that's the business workers, and I can make fun of them. They make a lot more money than I do doing this. But that's common Bermuda dress. Another big thing we got going on here in Bermuda, America's Cup. Yeah, I'm sure everybody knows about that, right? I'm sorry if you didn't hear about that, because it's a pretty busy place right now. A lot of us were actually worried that we wouldn't be able to keep up with the demand for ferries and buses and things like that, but everything is going smoothly. And everybody in Bermuda who knows our government is scratching their head, and we're saying, what happened? But everything's going well. But definitely you can just kind of walk across to the village, and there's a lot going on at the America's Cup Village. Now, it was closed today. I believe it's open tomorrow, yeah? Baxter?
Not till Saturday.
Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. So the village, you heard not till Saturday?
Yeah. We went down there today. Yeah.
And they said not till Saturday. Oh, man. Okay, don't go to the village. That's a bad idea. But one thing, if you do want to check out some fancy boats, if you are going into Hamilton, if you're catching the ferry into Hamilton, once you get off the ferry, you're going to see all of these rich boys' pleasure yachts. And it makes for, you know, some eye candy down there. There's a lot of money down there. And basically all of those boats that you see down there in Hamilton, they are only here because the America's Cup is going on. And we got Team USA, the defending champs, and that's versus Team New Zealand. All right, so first day of racing for those two is on Saturday. New Zealand beat out Great Britain and Sweden to make it to challenge the US. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting. But if you look out on the Great Sound and you see these crazy airplane wings flying around sideways, those are sailboats, and that's the America's Cup boats right there. Fastest sailboats in the world. They clock about 50 miles an hour on their best day. Yeah. So that's Bermuda in a nutshell for you. You guys got any questions? Anything you seen? Anyone worried about the triangle? Anyone got anyone they want to disappear? North Rock? Well, there's a restaurant called North Rock, and that's kind of central location. There is a North Rock way out there. Believe it or not, it's north. Yeah, it's a tiny, tiny little rock that sticks up out of the ocean. What did you hear about that? Okay, that light tower. It's a 60-foot fiberglass tower, and it basically wards sailors off of our treacherous reefs. Yeah. So just to give you an idea of how Bermuda is, right now we're sailing down the channel. Okay. So we're obviously in deep water, but if you go right or left here, you are going to hit reef. Right, and that goes out for the horizon. The horizon from where you guys are sitting, about 15 miles. You can almost get to the horizon from here, and you can find reef that breaks the surface at low tide. All right, so if you look at Bermuda, I told you we're only about 22 square miles. We actually have 200, the plateau itself that we're on is about 200 square miles, and it's all patch reef. So basically, if Baxter didn't like us, he'd just turn left, and it wouldn't take too long. But that's why, you know, all the boats went missing back in the day. If you look at the history of Bermuda, we were discovered in the 1500s by a Spanish sailor. Anyone want to guess his name? This one's tough. Someone said it. Yeah, Mr. Bermuda. Mr. Bermuda, just free rum swizzle over there. Mr. Bermuda discovered Bermuda. One day Bermudez was his name. He was a Spanish sailor. And it actually wasn't until 100 years later that the British got here. But the reason we weren't colonized by the Spanish was because every time they brought their boats too close to the island, they wrecked on those reefs, right? So that's kind of like how the triangle started. And if you walk into stores, you'll see shirts made up that say the Devil's Isle. All right, that was the first name given to us by the Spanish. All right, if you translate it, because they actually thought the island was haunted. Now, we did change that for tourism purposes. But it wasn't until about 100 years later the British got here, and they basically came here in 1609. By 1612, we were officially a British colony. They put a big British flag on us, and we've been British ever since, right? Our national sport here is cricket. You guys know what that is? Yeah, it's an insect. It's also the most boring sport in the world. We all had to play it in high school, you know, and golf is a big thing here. So we celebrate the most two boring sports in the world. We have the most golf courses per capita. We got the most churches per square mile and the most bars per capita here in Bermuda. So basically, if you want to sum us up in one sentence, we are religious alcoholic golfers. You got. As you can see, we're getting back to your ship here. We're on the wrong side, but we are going to figure that out. Just want to take the time out to say thank you very much for coming out with us tonight. Pretty pleasant evening out there, right? And I commend you on your decision to go out there, because we actually got some sailing in on the way back. We shut the motors down for a while there, which was kind of cool. We wouldn't have been able to do that in the great sound. But you guys have a good time out there? Yes, all right. If you did have a good time with us tonight, you could go ahead and say something to your shore excursion agent. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell someone you don't even know. That's how we like to work, word of mouth, right? If you didn't enjoy the trip, just don't say anything to anyone, and that works just as good. Guys, don't forget to tip your 2 servers back there, the people who made it happen for us tonight. And I know you're here for a little while, so obviously if you see myself, Brittany, Baxter, in and around the dockyard area, don't be a stranger. We're going to remember you, we're going to say hi, and we're going to point you in the right direction. But you guys were awesome to us tonight. Thank you for being an awesome crowd. Thank you, thank you, thank you.